Hello, my name is Crystal Schuneman, and this project is being conducted on November 15th, 2015 for Business Research and Analysis, Module 6 Research Project. I chose Stryker Medical Supplies, and I want to know, is Stryker ethical when making healthcare better? Dr. Homer Stryker, an orthopedic surgeon from Michigan, found that certain medical products didn't meet his patients' needs. He started coming up with his own ideas and inventing new ones. In 1941, he started a company with a goal to help patients lead healthier, more active lives through products and services that make surgery and recovery simpler, faster, and more effective. Stryker is one of the world's leading medical technology companies. The company offers a diverse array of innovative products and services in orthopedics, medical and surgical, and neurotechnology and spine, which leads the way in patient recovery and hospital outcomes. Stryker has products in over 100 countries around the world. With over 26,000 employees, Stryker employees have to live up to a company-wide corporate compliance. They pride themselves on doing the right things for their patients, customers, and employees. They have a high level of expectations to follow all of the laws and regulations to stay compliant with all of their ethical standards. All of the Stryker employees make a personal commitment to act with unquestionable integrity and honor, and in full compliance with all the ethical and legal standards set out in their code of conduct. Stryker's mission statement: together with our customers, we are driven to make healthcare better. They do this by developing innovative and state-of-the-art medical supplies and implants. These supplies and devices offer patients a chance to live fuller and healthier lives. As the healthcare environment changes, so do their challenges. Each year, they are challenged to find new and better ways to do things. On the other end, each year, more and more lawsuits are brought against medical companies. Stryker has had some negative publicity in regards to their hip recall and whether or not it was put on the market ethically. On July 6, 2012, Stryker issued a voluntary recall of its Rejuvenate modular neck stem and the ABG2 modular neck stem hip implants. They are manufactured in a plant in New Jersey. It is estimated that over 30,000 of these implants were sold around the world. 20,000 of them were sold in the United States. This recall applies to any two-part implant sold from February of 2009 until July of 2012. Stryker decided to recall the hip voluntarily because of the potential for failure and corrosion at the modular neck junction. Traditional hip implants are made of a one-piece stem and femoral neck. The recalled hip implants were made up of two parts. The reason for the two parts was so that the surgeon could adjust the implant according to anatomy and choose the length and size to best fit the patient. Due to the high risk found to be associated with this implant, Stryker announced their voluntary recall. As a result of the metal being released into the body, the types of complications that may occur were too risky. Due to the information given to the doctors from Stryker, they started doing revision surgeries and removed the implants. Patients were requested immediately to undergo blood work, X-rays, MRIs, and CT scans to check for inflammation, fluid buildup, or any other complications. Patients all over the world had to undergo a second hip surgery to replace a product they believed was safe. The hip was on the market for over 3 years before anyone decided it was unsafe. Whose ethical responsibility was it to approve the product? Who decided it was okay for the patients to receive the product in the first place? Is Stryker making healthcare better? Were they ethical in how they handled the recall? Overall, what we want to prove or disprove is whether or not Stryker is ethical when making healthcare better. What types of strategies will Stryker use in the future to prevent another recall of this magnitude? Allowing a piece of equipment to be implanted into someone's body that's unsafe could cause life-threatening complications. Have there been any other recalls on equipment made by Stryker? With a company this large, there have been several great breakthrough inventions, and unfortunately, they've had some bumps along the way. As part of Stryker's commitment to support patients and surgeons affected by the recall, they are reimbursing patients for testing, treatment, revision surgery if necessary, and other costs related to the voluntary recall. They're taking full responsibility and want the best for their customers. Stryker has agreed to pay a sum greater than $1 billion for the recall. They will seize every opportunity to find a better way and are dedicated to act as a catalyst for change. They are driven by a passion for a more sustainable and responsible healthcare sector and by the difference that it can make in the quality of patient care. Being an industry-leading medical supply company comes with a lot of social expectations. Customers, clients, and investors all expect the highest quality of products and service to meet their wants and needs. Stryker has built a very good reputation and continues to surpass its competition. Stryker will always have a place in our healthcare facilities and keep inventing bigger and better products year after year. Since Stryker is such a large company, the best research method to use is the quantitative method. Finding out what people are thinking and want through surveys and data analysis will give us a lot of information, and I want to know if people are able to trust Stryker again. Will there be a time that customers allow Stryker back into their lives without thinking negatively about the recall? Using a method of survey questions, we will ask the questions on 5 different variables. 1. Strongly disagree. 2. Disagree. 3. Neither agree nor disagree. 4. Agree. And 5. Strongly agree. These variables will allow the customers to give their feedback based on feelings and opinions about Stryker. One important question we will ask people involved in the recall is how likely are you to get a hip revision? For customers who have already had a hip revision, I want to know if you need another hip or knee replacement. How likely are you to go through with the surgery? Using these 2 questions will give us a good idea of how much customers trust Stryker products. I would like to know if the patients believe they have any negative effects from their first hip, physically or medically. If they did, I want to know if they feel it affects their daily life. If they did receive a settlement, do they feel that they were compensated fairly? Who's responsible for the recall? Do the patients believe that Stryker is to blame for the recall? Or maybe it's their doctor. Maybe it's their fault for using a faulty hip joint. Or was it the FDA? These questions are going to generate many different views and opinions from customers who endured the pain and suffering of their recalled hip joint. These questions will help Stryker decide if they need to take extra steps to mend relationships with their customers. Because it's such an invasive surgery to begin with, these patients are probably very angry this happened to them. Some people hold on to angry differently. Their answers may reflect their emotions. And I want to know if they feel better now that the revision's complete. Can you tell the difference between the good hip or the recalled hip? Whose ethical responsibility was it to approve the product? Who decided it was okay for the patients to receive the product? Was it Stryker's ethical responsibility to keep the product off the market? Since 1976, all medical devices have to go through a screening process to be classified and officially approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration before they can be used on humans or sold on the market. Hip replacements are considered Class 3, which is a very high risk for humans. Because of this, any new product has to go through a very thorough and extensive testing process. Because this hip was pushed onto the market so fast, it cost the company a lot of money in settlements, and Stryker will do what they can to avoid this in the future. The measurement scale that will be used is ordinal. The ordinal scale of measurement will allow us to measure the level of intensity using a ranking system. It will allow our participants to describe and rank their expectations and feelings using the following choices: strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. The research I will be conducting will include participants who were a part of the Stryker hip recall and who may or may not have had a second surgery. These participants have experienced firsthand what it's like to be part of this recall, and many of them had had to endure a second hip surgery due to the recall. By using the ordinal scale of measurement for our research questions, it allows us to evaluate the overall experience with Stryker, the company, and Stryker products. This scale will allow us to determine the intensity between the responses. Errors in this research may include participants who blame Stryker for the recall and don't have all the facts. Because they had to go through the pain and suffering of a second hip surgery, they may still be angry at Stryker for putting the product on the market. Emotional responses may alter some of the results. By taking into account the emotional responses these participants will be feeling, we could consider providing a brochure of Stryker recall information along with the survey. Giving the participants all the facts may help them understand why this happened. We could also consider repeating the surgery to the same patients in a year. This way, they may feel a little differently. Giving participants more time can help heal and mend a relationship. By conducting this research, we will be trying to evoke patients' emotions. Emotions may are frustrated, dissatisfied, disappointed, or irritated. Stryker strives to achieve customer satisfaction, so we do hope to accomplish this after the settlement is issued. Those who receive the settlement will hopefully have emotions such as satisfied, valued, and trusted. This research is planned to be an electronic survey to participants. This is the quickest and cheapest method to calculate such a large amount of data. The survey consists of 40 questions asked to 10 people. When I distributed the survey, I included an even number of male and female participants in hopes to get an open and honest opinion from all of them. Overall, the participants are senior citizens. 80% of them are 71 years of age. 60% of them have had one hip replacement, 30% two, 10% three, and 60% of the participants were married. Overall, 100 participants had insurance, and 100% of it was covered by the hip replacement. Overall, I believe there were mixed feelings regarding whether or not the settlement was satisfying. All of the people surveyed use a lawyer, and after the hip revision surgery, 50% of those patients believe they feel better. When asked if the patients believe the FDA is responsible, 90% responded yes, 100% of them believe the FDA could have prevented the recall. Luckily for the doctors, 10% believe they are to blame. After the surgery, 60% would still use the same doctor. When asked if Stryker was ethical in how they handled the recall, 70% responded yes, 10% disagreed, 20% neutral, 50% agreed, and 20% strongly agreed. Along with that, 70% of the participants think Stryker does make a good implant. Even though participants think that Stryker makes the good implant, 70% of them think they rushed the product on the market, and 90% agreed that the recall could have been avoided. When asked if they trust Stryker, 70% agreed. Luckily for Stryker, 90% of the participants agreed that Stryker is a successful business. They are always coming out with new and innovative ideas and trying to make healthcare better. In conclusion, Stryker is ethical in how they conducted business in the healthcare. They will continue to lead the way in offering a diverse array of innovative products and services. They will continue to find ways to improve patient recovery and hospital outcomes. The recall was a bump in the road to continued success, but it will not slow them down. They will continue to find ways to succeed and impress their customers. I would recommend Stryker keep in touch with those affected by the recall so the patients know Stryker cares about their future healthcare. Paying them off in a settlement is one way to make amends, but creating a long-term trusting relationship is priceless. Stryker wants these customers to use their products in the future, so it's important they continue a long, healthy relationship with their current and past customers. Overall, helping customers understand and come to terms with the recall will help mend the relationship and allow those customers to feel important and that Stryker understands what they went through. Stryker will do whatever they can to help prevent this type of recall in the future. Thank you for your time.